Purdue can beat you in so many ways with the way that they can run their break, they can get offensive boards, they can obviously score in the paint, they can score from three, and you just can't let them come down and be comfortable. And I thought the fact that our guys were really active with their feet and hands. We had 57 deflections tonight, 33 at halftime. Troy had 13 at halftime alone. Ended up with 18 in the game, and that is a huge thing for us because of the activity. You know, it's a good passing team, good shooting team. They're very skilled, obviously, and you just can't let them get to their comfort level. And they did it a few times. They caught the ball deep in the post, and that's a problem. But that's a problem for everybody trying to deal with them. But we wanted to put pressure on the ball, and when we did that, we did a good job. We created turnovers, which is rare to do against Purdue, and we took care of the ball, which is also rare to do against Purdue. And those were key points in the game for us. So a lot of good basketball from a lot of guys. And Yogi played a tremendous game. The only way Rob was coming out in that second half was the way he came out, unfortunately. And so we'll deal with that. It's too early to tell, what his status is right now. So he's continuing to be evaluated in there and looked at. Troy played a phenomenal game. Troy's had an excellent week and very locked in and focused. And Troy was incredibly committed on the defensive end this week. And it's amazing what happens to your offense. We try to get these guys to understand all the time. When you focus on the defense and the rebounding and making simple plays with the ball, it's amazing how well you play. And that's exactly what he did. I thought all of our inside guys were up to the task. And it's no easy task to go to battle with the three centers that they have, but they responded and they carried their own on the offensive end as well. So very proud of the way that they played. Our crowd was incredible. I didn't think it could be louder than it was for Iowa from start to finish, but it was. I mean, it was just tremendous. And we know we beat a really, really good team. And that is going to play for a long, long time in the, obviously it has the potential to play for a long time in the tournament.
They came in as the top offensive rebounding team in the conference from a percentage standpoint. I think they only got 4 tonight. I guess what were you guys doing?
That was the number one key. We have to. I'd have to count this up to see what our guard rebounds were, but we just needed to be in the paint. I mean, you can't. It's a fight, right? We've got guys in there getting stitches, and I mean, it's a battle, and they're very good at it. They have great footwork in the post, and they get deep position, and they're quick, right? I mean, those guys are all quick, and so you've got to be down in there. And then you've got Edwards, who is just a machine on the glass. So it was key. That was the number one key of the night, was that we limited them as much as we could to one shot. And if we got a turnover, so be it, and we ended up getting some, that we turned into points, which was huge. But that was the biggest key. And for us to carry that out is probably one of the main reasons, that with the activity we had on defense for the way that we won the game.
Coach, your thoughts on your guards' ability to double the post on entry, but without selling out so much that they gave up the outside jumper?
Well, that's the key. We're not we had to stay true to the concept of what we wanted to get done with who we wanted to come off of, and there's a little bit of cat and mouse involved in that, because you don't want to give up too many shots. It's a risk with PJ Thompson. He's a good shooter. He's shooting over 40%, but nobody has guys right now that can just guard those guys one-on-one. I haven't seen it. So you've got to do a great job, and it's not just the scoring in the post position, but they can shoot. Especially A.J. Hammonds and Caleb Swanigan can shoot the ball, and they can pass, especially A.J. Hammonds, right? So to me, that was the key, that there was a lot of hands in there. There was a lot of hands, a lot of activity, and that the post defender didn't feel like he was in there by himself, because they capitalized when he was in there by himself. And a couple of times we gave too deep a position, and a couple of times, we didn't put enough hand pressure on the ball. But that was absolutely key, that the guards were active, alert, aware, and able to recover.
Tom, to be 12-3 right now in the Big Ten, looking at the big picture, what's pleased you the most about this team?
Oh, I would say just the biggest thing is how they've stayed focused on each game. And I know that sounds cliche-ish, but it's absolutely true. I don't think we'd have this record without that. You know, going back to December, they have absolutely stayed centered on the day, you know, on the preparation that goes into it, on practicing really hard. And I think with that, that's enabled us to practice less. We didn't even practice on Thursday. And there's a risk with that, right? Because Purdue's been sitting there since Tuesday night, I believe, and we didn't even go Thursday on the court at all because we hadn't been away from the court from a week from Monday, from the previous Monday. So when you have that, and when they're in there watching film, and when they're in there putting things together, and they're communicating with the coaches, there's a complete, you know, they're locked in. They're not just bought in, they're locked in. And I think that's been the biggest thing to me, has been that consistency of focus that they've carried.
I told Thomas I'm not asking for state secrets, but he and Max spent a lot of time when they weren't on the floor together, talking to one another from the bench. How important were just some of those big guys in maybe communicating what they were seeing, even when they weren't in the game, to the guys that were when you were dealing with them?
Oh, I think that's great leadership. I think that's really good. And we've got to. We decided to go with Max because we didn't want to start Thomas on Hammonds, and I'm glad I didn't do that. You know, Thomas only had one foul at half, I believe, so that was a good situation because I know, you know, Matt's going to see that matchup and attack it even more so. You know, we've seen that in the past, and I think that's really key. Max has been excellent. Max has been I hate to use the term big brother, but we didn't need him. I've said this before. We didn't need him to come in here and be a babysitter. We needed him to come in here and show leadership, you know, with a bunch of young guys. And that's exactly what he's done. And those three young players respect him, like him, look up to him, because he has always been a part of it with them. And there's always a risk in that, right? You know, when you bring in somebody that age and somebody that's from a different program, and they're brand new guys, and that says a lot about Max, but it also says a lot about the young guys. And I think, going back to Pat's question, that's why that's what's been impressive. I don't think you'd have the focus that this team would have if you didn't have a bunch of guys that really like each other and respect one another.
Sorry, just to follow, who picked up the stitches at halftime?
I didn't mention it.
Oh, I thought you said somebody got stitches.
No, they're getting stitches now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you.
Good.
No turnovers for the first 17 minutes and only 4 for the game. What's changed with this team?
Well, just the night. It could, you know, I can't answer that in a proclamation because it could turn around for us, right? I mean, we want to play fast. We just don't want to play reckless. And I think they have a lot of respect for Purdue. They know how good that defense is, and they put a lot of pressure on you. So to me, that's making the simple play. I mean, we had some open shots. In fact, at the end of the game, those shots were open and they were all good shots, but we probably needed to reverse it a little bit more. You know, and you don't want to take the foot off the gas, but at the same time, when a team like that can score on the break, score off the boards, score in the post, and score from three, you don't want to give them that many opportunities. And we probably needed to. I couldn't fault the openness of the shot, but we probably needed to reverse it a bit more. And I think they moved the ball. That, in answer to your question, they moved the ball all night long. At the end of the first half, we took a couple shots that we needed to get it reversed, right, and play through the paint a little bit better. We were 13 of 16 through the paint in the first half. We were 3 of 15 not through the paint in the first half. You know, that's the first thing that went on the grease board, you know, at halftime. And they understand that. I mean, they're not purposely trying to go through the paint, you know, because they're getting shots they think they can make and that they do make. But we need to go through the paint, right? So I think when you do that, then it cuts down trying to make home run plays that aren't there.
The last possession when Yogi got the goaltending call, was that what you were looking for?
Yeah, drive. Yeah, we're looking for a clear out. Yeah, and really wanted to clear out, not the screen. We wanted to pull the man, and we had a different lineup on there. You know, that's a better play when you have more shooters on the court in that situation. But we wanted him to be able to get to the basket because with enough time, as you know, he's really, really good at driving underneath that backboard, right? We call it our ice, you know, and he's very, very good at that. So there's enough time to make that play. But we wanted it in his hands, and I thought it was the right call. Did you? Good. I'm glad you agree. Good. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
With Troy having have another great night. What do you see as a coach? He said he hasn't really changed anything, but have you seen him change anything as a coach this past week or two?
No. The worst thing could happen when somebody's struggling is you keep reminding them of it, right? And there's enough talk on the outside of slump this, and that's not what's relevant. And for us, it's not about the percentages. If we played other teams' percentages, we'd probably lose more games. You got to play the players, and you got to play the personnel, play the other teams. It was the same thing with your own team. And the last thing we want to do is dwell on what's not working. We want to make sure we're spending enough time on what is, and try to refine it. So it was key that not only that we talk about being more aggressive, but that we actually put him in situations where he can be, and in practice, and hold him accountable a little bit more, which I do, and then it just carries out into the game. So his focus is really, really strong. He is. I love him. I absolutely love him, and he's just getting better all the time. All right, thank you.